Hare Krishna, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Soul Ashraya podcast, a weekly bhakti podcast where we will seek the shelter of our dear Lord Krishna through prayer, shastra, and conversation. I'm your host, Bhakta Jake. And I talk with my hands. I am joined with my friend and teacher, Balaram Shakti Das, the infamous spaceship driver and truck driver of the universe. He is actually on a truck slash spaceship slash roller coaster right now. We are doing the show live right now, and just insane things here. He's on the road. I am out of town working in Philadelphia, and we're just doing what we can to keep the show going. Thank you so much for joining us, people of YouTube. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff for us. We are going to dive right in. Do you want to do the invocations real quick, Balaram?
Yes.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishesha Shrutivati Paschata Deshtarne Panchakapatrubhischa Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patana Bhavyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Jai. Hare Krishna. So we are so close to the very end of chapter 2 of the Krishna book. If you are just joining us, this whole show is about this beautiful book, the Krishna book, and we are at the very end of chapter 2, and we are starting with our dear Lord Krishna. Is that right? That's one of the last paragraphs.
Our dear Lord, the demigods continued.
Okay. Let me see here. Our dear Lord, the demi. Oh, yes. Here it is. Okay. Just a few paragraphs right before the very end of chapter 2 is where we are. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
There's so many paragraphs that start with that. So maybe I'll read it just because I have the marker here.
Yeah.
I just noticed there's another one that started exactly the same way. Okay. Our dear Lord, the demigods continued, you are unborn. Therefore, we do not find any reason for your appearance other than for your pleasurable pastimes. Although the reason for the appearance of the Lord is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, he descends just to give protection to the devotees and vanquish the non for meeting with his not pushed one.
Oh. Oh.
You're losing him.
Yeah. He froze up a little bit there. I can continue.
Automatically devotedly. Your holy name and your personality are non-different. It's okay.
Yeah, you broke up just a little bit there for just a second.
Okay.
but I can
Um,
recap it if you want. I'm right where you are in the book.
okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll
So
recap it. Or
go for
go
it.
ahead.
Do you know the verse? Do you know the verse that he was citing in the Bhagavad Gita?
No, no, this no. What verse is that?
Parichanaya sadunam vinasha chaduskritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So 4.8.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's three things that he says. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Millennium after millennium, I incarnate, I advent myself for three reasons. Parichanaya sadhanam, to reclaim the pious, the sadhus, the devotees. Vinashaya chaduskritam, to vanquish the duskrita, those who do bad things, the miscreants. And dharma samstarpanarthaya, to reestablish the principles of dharma, principles of religion. So it's like these are like external reasons that an avatar of God would appear, but the demigods are saying actually you're unborn.
Oh, he froze up again.
To
Oh,
so why would you do so by your own free will? Oh,
you froze up just
okay, there you are.
yeah.
Okay,
You got
I have, so we'll see how we go this. maybe I'll Christian wants me to talk less. Definitely Christian.
well. I was just
Go
wondering
ahead.
that does it say in your book the reference, or did you just know that that was the reference?
Yeah, yeah.
You just knew that that was what it was talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the
That's pretty good, dude. That's pretty good.
verses that you memorize in for Bhakti Shastri. So like a lot of the verses that, but yeah, that's one thing, yeah, that you get good at. You should try to
Hmm.
train your intelligence to know the
Yeah,
Gita as well as Prabhupada citing it. And that, yeah, that's really nice.
yeah, yeah. That is good. That is very good. So just to recap, because you did kind of freeze up, I'll just
Go
read the
ahead.
few sentences because it got a little wonky. But so it was okay, so this is what he had read, okay? Our dear Lord, the demigods continued, you are unborn, therefore we do not find any reason for your appearance other than for your pleasurable pastimes. Although the reason for the appearance of the Lord is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, he descends just to give protection to the devotee and vanquish the non-devotee. Actually, he descends for his pleasure meeting with the devotees, not really to vanquish the non-devotees. And I think that's where I got wonky and the signal started breaking up. But that's what Bhagavad Gita for. That's where it wow, okay.
Yeah,
So should
chapter
I keep
4.
on you want me to keep on reading right from there from that?
Yeah, your video is frozen for me, so I don't know how mine is, but you can, oh, there, you're back. You can continue.
Okay. The non-devotees can be vanquished simply by material nature. Isn't that true?
Simply by
The
one kick. Does it say that in yours?
no.
By simply by one kick of material nature, mine says.
Huh. Yeah, mine says the
There's
non-devotees can be vanquished
there's a lot of differences in the different
Huh.
versions. It's
Yeah,
kind of strange, but
yeah.
anyway.
It could say something totally different on database too.
Yeah, I believe this version I have is the database version. It's like the current one.
Okay,
But
okay,
yeah, go ahead.
okay. The action and reaction of the external energy of material nature, creation, maintenance, and annihilation are being carried on automatically, but simply by taking shelter of your holy name, because your holy name and your personality are non-different, the devotees are sufficiently protected. There you have it, right there. The protection of the devotees and the annihilation of the non-devotees are actually not the business of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he descends, they are just for his transcendental pleasure. There cannot be any other reason for his appearance. So there's no other reason for his appearance than that they are just for his transcendental pleasure.
It makes
So
sense, right? It's like, why would he need to appear personally in order to carry out these things with the external energy? Just by his will, everything is being enacted. So if he willed it, like all of the corrupt rulers in the world could drop dead in a moment. That's no problem for him. So he has so many agents by which he's acting, right? Agents of his will, like the immediate cause, whereas he's, what is it, like the efficient cause, the remote cause, yeah, things like that. So yeah, right, that makes sense. He doesn't need to appear. Like on paper it's like, yes, I do this, I come to vanquish, but the real reason is this internal relationship with the devotees that's going.
yeah, yeah. So I'll just keep on reading.
Yeah.
Our dear Lord, you are appearing as the best of the Yadu dynasty, and we are offering our respectful, humble obeisances unto you, your lotus feet. Before this appearance, you also appeared as the fish incarnation, Matsya, the horse incarnation, which I don't know that one,
I agree with that.
the tortoise incarnation, the swan incarnation, as King Ramchandra, Jai Shri Ram, as Parasurama, and as many other incarnations, which a lot of those incarnations are stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. You appear just to protect the devotees, and we request you in your present appearance as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself to give us similar protection all over the three worlds and remove the obstacles for the peaceful execution of our lives. Now, what the heck are the three worlds? That's what I want to know.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard this. Yeah.
I've this is something I've actually been hearing a lot of lately, and I'm like, what are the three worlds?
Cool. So there's um a few different ways that they can be parsed out. Um, but I'll go with the most common one, and not only common to us, but common to other traditions as well. Like recently, uh, I was speaking with a friend and teacher of mine who he was my shamanic teacher, right? In Peru and in America as well.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so he studied under Peruvian shamans and the line of the Inca as far as like that science, like the Andean wisdom and their cosmology. It's very interesting, and it's very it very naturally follows, you know, that that's an offshoot of Vedic culture. You know, it has these elements. Um, it's just not as detailed or like book oriented. It's more like experiential, down to earth kind of wisdom. But they teach about the three worlds, and there's upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. So we're in Middle Earth, you could say, right? To use the
Like the Lord of the Rings.
we're in we're in the middle plane. So Earth is situated in the middle. And then you have the higher world, which is the heavens, the realm of the gods, in like any kind of myth mythology. You'll have, you know, like the Greek or Roman or Norse gods. They live in the higher planetary system. It's like a higher dimension. And then there's the lower worlds, like Hades, the world of Hades, you know, the world of the dead, the hellish worlds. Although the Bhagavatam, that's it's actually like a different, like the hellish planets are actually different. They're underneath the world. Anyway, that the Vedic cosmology is very complicated, but to kind of like simplify it, they just say, let's just say the three worlds. There's like so many different lokas, but the
Okay.
three worlds are like regions. They're like regions, and then within those regions there may be different lokas. Like
Okay.
the upper planetary system, if you just say like that world, there's many different lokas, right? Different like planes or dimensions. Uh, and likewise with the lower worlds, the hellish worlds. So lower worlds may not even mean hell, actually, but the sun doesn't shine down. So it's like, you know, the place where the sun don't shine, we know that is like not a very savory place. Right? I mean, it's like that. Uh, but actually, Prabhu, I'll tell you this, like, because I pass by all the time and we see these big factories, right, on the side of the highways.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is actually, that is technology that has come from the lower planet, the lower planetary systems. So it's, you could say that like underneath the surface of the earth, there are other like worlds.
Mm.
Um, it, physically, why not? Why not physically? Like there's so many stories about like a, what is it, like Agartha, uh, and like cities, and there's these like sinkholes that just appear out of nowhere. Nobody knows, you know, why they're there. Anyway, there are subterranean civilizations that are very highly advanced industrially and technologically. They're very advanced, and they have a very sophisticated. This is coming from the Bhagavatam. This is not like my speculation or something from the internet. This is the scriptures describe the subterranean planets, planetary systems, which just means planes, right? Planet is a plane.
Lokas.
Yeah, as being very refined. Like as far as material enjoyment goes, there's like a high standard of material enjoyment, but the sun doesn't shine there, and so like the spiritual connection is lost. It's more dense reality. Uh, so it's like when you see these like factories, it's like that's what they look like, you
Mm.
know. And like the red light districts, you know, like clubs, nightclubs, that's what it looks like. The nightclub, like those vibrations, if you want to go to the lower planetary systems, just go to a nightclub and leave your body there, you know, like you'll definitely wake up in the same place underneath the earth. I mean, not definitely, of course, but that's like that vibration, that's where it's
Yeah.
coming from. So it's like, okay, so this, getting back to the point, and this is interesting. So the Andean cosmology, what they say is that these three worlds are all manifest here in our experience. And wherever we see disorder, right, any kind of disorder or like disharmony, that is a vibration from the lower planet, the lower world, that is like coming up somehow or other. And the higher world is the world of divine order. It's like the movement of the celestials, right? The luminous bodies, they move like in fixed orbits. It's orderly. It's not chaotic. It's not like
Mm.
stars are just like shooting everywhere. Like people say that this world, the universe came from a big bang, from chaos. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Everything is working in perfect. Like the closer you look at life, the more orderly you see it, you know.
Mm.
So it's true, like life came from the higher, from the heavens, and then earth was created and so forth. So the purpose of us here is to bring that higher order into the places of disorder.
Mm.
Therefore, you know, kind of bring heaven to earth sort of thing. So they can be seen in different ways, as like different lokas, and the Bhagavatam will describe them very in great detail, or um, just more like energetically. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing on like demon portals, like that people like that practice black magic. They open up portals, they let in this energy. You know, it's like these are real things. These are very real things. Whereas the white wizards, you could say, like those practicing white magic, they're doing the opposite. Like they're fighting against that. So like there's a battle of consciousness, right? Like these things are happening between heaven and hell. Like that's a real thing. You know, though all of those stories, all those mythos, those are real to some degree or another. And that's what the three worlds is like. And the denizens of the material universe are constantly traversing these three planes, whether like biologically, like they're taking birth in those different places, or like energetically, like we're passing through the valley of the shadow right now, or you know, or
Mm.
we're in
Yeah.
some sublime
Yeah.
place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or you know, wherever we may find ourselves.
Yeah. Sublime, a fantastic word to sum it up. I wanted to go back to where you were talking about a Peruvian. What did you say? It was a Peruvian what now?
Like on Andean, like the Incan
Oh,
cosmology.
yeah. How did you meet a person who was an Inca?
Yeah, well, my teacher that I met in southern Pennsylvania, Delaware, when I was there, this was like 2015, long before I met the devotees. Well, several years before. So I
Hmm?
studied with him, and he had been studying in Peru for over 10 years. And he'd studied around the world, like with Russian shaman and
Hmm.
various like earth traditions today. So he works with with a curandera in the jungle, and with the Incan elder, a few Incan elders in the Andes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so we
I,
went there.
I wanted to let you know that I've kind of opened up my mind to to the possibility. I've opened up my mind to the possibility that there could be something to using ayahuasca to cure diseases, especially diseases of the mind. And I came across um, a professor who has some movies and some new stuff that just came out, and he kind of this guy kind of goes into yogic traditions too, and he has a very sincere um respect for the Vedas. So I'll listen to him, you know. So, usually Bhakta Jake is pretty, you know, straight edge, if you will. Like I'm not, I'm not really into drugs. I'm into,
Right.
maybe like a cup of coffee or something like that. But you know, other than that, I'm just not into it. Um, but I was listening to this guy. He was actually on a much bigger podcast than we have. And I don't want
You
to
don't
drop
say.
any names, but a much more popular podcast. And he was talking about how, and this guy's a professor. He was talking about how he takes ayahuasca and it cures his migraines for like long periods of time. Like he has suffered from migraines his whole life, since he was like 15 or 16. And when you get a migraine, it'll put you down, maybe even for a couple of days. And he was saying how
Oh yeah.
the medicine doctors, I don't know what you
Yep.
call them, but like
Yeah.
they kind of lead you on this quest. And so there's this thing going on that he wants to figure out, because people who take ayahuasca and or DMT, which eh, I do not take it. I do not condone taking it. But if you're a responsible adult, you can do what you want. Okay. They seem to be meeting the same entities. And so now he wants to see if they can actually like map out a course, like in the spirit realm, that these entities actually go to. Like they want to see, like, you take the ayahuasca over in England at this time, and we'll take it at the same exact time over here and in the US, at the exact same time, and we'll see what we see, you know, and try to like map it out, which I thought was kind of interesting. But without his sincere love and respect for the Vedas, I just don't think I could get into this guy at all. So I'll leave it at that. And since we're talking about interplanetary dimensions, I figured I'd throw that in there. And so,
Okay.
I want to say that I know that you have maybe had some experiences with ayahuasca. I don't know if you want to talk about it on the show or not, but if you do, go ahead. If you don't, that's okay too.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That this is nice. So yeah, the kind of experiments that he's doing, there's like a couple of things that come to mind. Just first of all, is one, it's almost like ants running experiment as like to figure out the layout of the building that they're living in,
Mm,
and thinking that they're going to be able to figure anything out
mm,
with that kind of experimental knowledge. It's so almost insignificant. It might, maybe figure some things out, but yeah, having knowledge of the Vedas will give you the top-down knowledge.
yeah.
That will be very helpful.
Mhm.
Uh, the knowledge of the Bhagavatam is actually quite vast and cosmic. Uh, so it's the sort of thing that would still take a lot of research, but it definitely gives a bird's eye view of the structure of the universe, which actually I'm listening audiobook of the Srimad Bhagavatam right now. And the last night I just got to the first chapter on the structure of the universe, which I've read through those chapters a few times because it's fascinating to me. I, I have this other tradition of knowledge and experience. So linking those together is definitely something that interests me. So I have my understandings. So I'll just share a few things. Um, what I can speak, that you are entering into a higher dimension for sure. of consciousness. And okay, there's so many things that I would like to share. First of all, that it's not a drug. And it's actually, to drink ayahuasca, you have to be more straight edge than straight edge. Like, no coffee, no, at all.
Oh, really?
No,
Wow.
definitely eating, no illicit sex. No, it very much reduce as much as you can salt and sugar, and spices, like hot and spices. You want to cut down on those and just eat, breathe, and live very simple so that the medicine can work with you. It's a doctor for sure. It is like the sum of all of the doctors of the forest. The forest is like the plant world has medicines for everything, and ayahuasca is their mother, you could say. It's actually, well, there's some to talk about it. But it's known as the grandmother medicine. And so the ayahuasca is known as a master teacher plant medicine, uh, because she can teach you from where you're at. It's not just like a teacher medicine, like ginger can teach your body, something about. Well, actually, ginger is very potent medicine. But different plants can teach your body a one specific thing, right?
Hmm.
Ayahuasca can teach you practically anything. So it really depends on your intention and your prayer, and it also, to a lesser extent, depends on who's serving it and who cooked the medicine, because the consciousness with which it was prepared is imbued into the ayahuasca. So you drink that. You have to drink that consciousness. But prayer then is also, it can override that. It just depends on what your connection with spirit is. But it's not something to tread lightly with. It's a very, very serious. So yeah, I think many words of caution should be spoken here, because again, yeah, we're not endorsing this, because it's a very heavy thing.
Hmm.
It will affect the rest of your life.
Hmm.
It will. And it can do more therapy for you than years and years and years of counseling. It's very effective in how it will open you up, and that's really what it does. Is it opens you up and it reveals to you. Basic idea is it opens your third eye, your inner vision, your imagination, you could say, but like real inner vision. And vision is something that will naturally occur when we are living our purpose in life, like we're walking our path in life. If you walk your path, just like Lord Jesus comes to mind, he taught his followers, follow me, walk, walk, get up and walk and follow in my footprints. Srila Prabhupada teaching the same thing: get up, walk, follow my footprints, right? This will lead you, because I'm going to the Father, you follow me, you will also be led to the Father. And so just walking your path like that, following footsteps of the great souls, will lead you to God. And whereas not like deviating from your path is called sin, right? Or adharma. You're deviating from the path when you get mixed up in so many different energies and things. So with ayahuasca, like it's sort of thing like someone is giving you a drink that is holding consciousness, some consciousness in it, that will that can influence your path. It's kind of ambiguous. Anyway, maybe I'll just kind of go back to the point here. Is if you follow your path, you'll have vision, right? because like if you look at the chakras of the human body, you have 7 chakras, right? They correspond with 7 upper worlds. The root chakra corresponding with the earth plane. And then there's 7 lower chakras that extend down to the heels, and those vibrate with the lower planetary systems. So if we really get off our path, we'll go down that direction and get into really dark emotions, really dark experiences. And our root chakra, which is like survival chakra, will just be totally kind of shattered. What to speak of our higher chakras, we won't have any experience in that. But if we're grounded, if we're like grounded means you're standing on the earth, you're living in harmony with your relationships, you're learning those things, you're walking in harmony, then these higher centers, higher stages of life, you could say, develop, right? From the just raw security of a child, bonding with its mother, comes, learning how to be responsible as an adult in the world. And that will bring you to the heart center, which is where you experience love, where you experience reciprocation, responsibility, right? Isn't it like that? Like relationship, love, it means you're taking some responsibility. You are opening your heart to others. And then what follows that? The throat chakra, right? The voice. And then you find your voice and how to communicate. And then there's the vision. Third eye is vision. And so this is kind of how I think about it is in kind of progression like this. So this is the natural state of a human being. Ayahuasca helps return you to that natural state. It's not in itself some people make it into like a religion or a path or like a social convention, right? It becomes like their thing. It's like, okay, maybe, the spirit wants you to be facilitating, but it can lead into this enjoyment thing because you have a very intense experience, and that can be addicting. But the real thing is what you're doing outside of the ceremony space. Like, how are you integrating the lessons? Because it's a master teacher, it's going to teach you. And if you ask for something specific, it will show you that, and it will show you a lot more. So the vision, essentially, because again, if you're aligned with your path, you will have vision, right? If you're following the dictates of spirit, then the spirit will reveal a vision for your life. Like, why would it not? Why would it be any other way? That makes sense. Like, if you're doing, it's like if a child is doing what he's supposed to be doing in the house, the father will educate him as to like, well, this is the life that we have provision for you. Like, you can live like this. If he says, no, I want to make my own thing, okay, you don't have to make a family business. It's here for you. You're well suited for it, right? You're perfectly suited for it, but you can make your own thing.
Yes.
Right. So that, and we're talking.
Yeah. No, it's okay. So what I've been told, I've heard about it before and everything. It's just so funny that we're getting on this subject today. But I've heard that it's had a lot of success in curing people of depression, of alcoholism, of all kinds of drug addictions, of post-traumatic stress disorder, like all these things, and I've heard this from a lot of different people, like people of some means, people with money, who are successful, who have it all, so to speak. But I'm a multimillionaire, but I just can't quit drinking. I've tried everything. They try ayahuasca, and boom, it just works. And like now they've been off of alcohol, drugs and alcohol for years and years and years. They've been like, they experience like a healing from this medicine. So that's why I'm the straight edge thing is a personal choice for me, because I grew up in, you know, a small town where like it was like you're only cool like if you drink beer and listen to like Aerosmith or something like that, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, like every other straight edge kid across America, like I don't ever want to be like these people. And then you cave in a little bit, and then you become like those people, and then you become like everything you didn't want to be, and then somehow you go through it and you recover from it, and you're like, I wish I would have just stayed straight edge, you know, like
You
through,
fell off your path.
yeah,
You took
yeah,
someone else's path.
right.
Yeah.
And then you get back on the right path. And, you know, the whole straight edge thing is really just, we could go on a tangent about that. I'm not going to right now, but I should bring that up someday, because
Right. Yeah.
this is just a thing it's just a choice that someone is making for their own life. I do not want to do drugs or alcohol. I want to be a vegetarian or a vegan. I want to exercise and take care, and I want to align my body, my soul, and my mind so I can be the best person. That's what I want to do. Maybe there's a member in the audience who that's not what they want to do. They're free to do whatever they want. I am not going to come up to them and smash that beer out of their hand. I'm not going to go up to them and smash that hamburger out of their hand.
Yeah.
They are adults. They can do whatever they want.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, that's how this world works, is we have free will. And it's like I there's something I could quote, but I'm not going to. Um like what else could it be? You can't do anything other than what you want to do. It's like you can try to do that, but it doesn't even make sense saying it, you know? So if it's not a personal choice for you to live a good way, even if objectively it's healthy, there's nothing else to it. So it has to be something from within. Uh, otherwise it's not. Even if it is quote unquote objectively good for you, it's actually not, because you're still following another's path. So even if it's quote unquote the right path, isn't it? Isn't it like that? Like you have to kind of make the decision yourself. So ayahuasca is very powerful because it works directly with you, the person, the consciousness. Uh, it's not like a drug means there's some effect that like it does this and it does that. And whether or not it's good for you, it's going to do that thing. And you're in that and you have to kind of go down that rabbit hole, if you will. Right.
Yeah.
Um, even like psychedelics, it's like you've imbibed it and there's some level of like the soul kind of like influencing with set and setting, but it's psychoactive. Whereas ayahuasca, like you're under the influence. Whereas ayahuasca, you're not under an influence. Um, it's you're working with you, just with you, and the plants are facilitating you working with you, and all that is not you, that is within you, like the more that you drink, the more that is not you is going to come out of you. Does that make sense? So
Hmm.
like in this life we take in so many things, on like a gross physical level up to a subtle level of like we're talking about like the path, the vision, like so other people's vision we also ingest, we take in by our association. So we associate with bad people, we
Hmm.
take in their vision, which is,
Hmm.
lower worlds. This harmonious, fragmented, um, uh, disorder, right? Chaos, chaotic. You go into like the projects and don't think just by like hanging out with people there, like your life is going to get into better order unless you're helping them get into better order, you know, right? But if you just go and just like, let me just kind of go with the flow. People are all about going with the flow. Okay, but like you have to understand the nature of the ocean of energy you're swimming in. Like that's not a good mentality for life because the flow out there is chaos. You know, it's not harmony. If you go to the upper worlds and you go with the flow, then maybe it might be better. But anyway, um, so you drink the medicine and then it you need to have a like a focused intention. Or if you don't, the shaman will hold a focused intention in space. Like that consciousness is there. And so like you're kind of working under the shaman in a sense. And if they have a pure intention, meaning zero ulterior motive, that is the only time and place where it is safe to let yourself go, as it were, to like relax and enter in that space. Because again, like if they have any ulterior motive, if the shaman has any ulterior motive, that ego is going to enter into you. Like you're drinking that ego in a sense. And that's not going to create more order or openness of vision in your life. Like it's that's going to send you off of your path. And I've, you know, we've seen that many times. But if they have no ulterior motive, then they're just an instrument for nature and for spirit, for God to work through as the super soul. Like this super soul is there and they'll direct, meaning you're just opening up to your natural state of being and being kind of unencumbered by the dissonant patterns of energy that you've imbibed in your life. So like, yeah, these millionaires or whoever it is, they might have it all. But there's still like a hole in there because they don't know themselves. They've imbibed this storyline or, you know, wrapped this false ego around their traumas, right? And bolstered themselves up with that ego, but they can't resolve. So it's a medicine to get you well, and, but it's not the end. It's just a means to what, and what is the end? Bhakti, devotion, devotional service. That's the end, right? So, and that comes when we are able to be open and like secure on the earth, like feet on the earth, able to walk. Like if your feet aren't on the earth, you know, you're in some swamp and someone says, you know, why aren't you walking with us? Like, why aren't you on your path? It's like, all right, yeah, thanks a lot for the help, you know, good advice, bud, right? You know, it's, you can't just slap the bottle out of the person's hand. You know, first they need to get well. You know, there's like, there's a phrase like that. It's like, you can't work if you're hungry. You can't walk your path if you're hungry, tired, or hurting, or, you know. So you need, there's certain things like your body is also a part of the path. You know, your spiritual life does not neglect, nor can it neglect the body. The body is the like keeps the score, right? There's a book that called that your body keeps score. So whatever disharmony is going on in your psyche is going to be reflected in your body. And we need to address that to the extent that it is impeding our spiritual life, right? Meaning the ability of our heart to love, right? If you're having like knee pain and or like a migraine, that's a perfect example. Like if you're, my dad has migraines all the time, and
Mm,
I've had like 2 or 3 migraines in my life. I guess 3. I had 3 migraines in my life.
mm,
Hare Krishna, like
mm.
those were like bone splitting pain, agony. Like I was commission, like I was out of commission. I wasn't doing anything,
Yeah.
just trying to like keep my soul in my body, sort of thing. I don't know how my dad, like all glories to him, that he
Mm,
has maintained a family, and like lived a normal life, even with that. It's
yeah.
insanity.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's like, um, there is it still affects, obviously it obviously affects him. So like if he has a migraine, where whatever he's doing, he has to leave at a certain
Mm,
point. Like there's been plenty of times where like a vacation has just been ended prematurely or something like that. It's just like I'm done. Like I have to go home and rest, just sit the next round out. So like you think his, I mean I'm not gonna project onto him, but like nor anyone else. It's like in those times, like what's happening with your spiritual life? Like, are you able to do your sadhana? Are you able to chant rounds? You know, are you able to sit with another human being and have a heart-to-heart conversation?
mm.
Probably not. You know, so let's speak of depression, all these mental health things, including physical ailments as well, and like situations like, do you have a job? Do you uh, enjoy your free time? Do you have, yeah, do you have healthy relationships? Do you have an intimate relationship? Um,
Mm.
are your loved ones or yourself suffering financially? Like all these different factors, like if they're not addressed, or at least if enough of them aren't addressed, you're not going to be able to develop as a human being, what to speak of as a soul servant of God. So all of these things can be addressed by the mother, like our connection with the mother, with the earth, with our body is where we're going to learn about all these things. The father, of course, also teaches these things as well, because the mother is there with the father. So chanting Hare Krishna, it is the end all be all, because Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna, the mother and father are both there. So both aspects are there, and you will learn. I mean, if you're thoroughly honest with yourself, it's like, okay, I'm chanting, but like this thing, like not having a job is like a real impediment for me. So I need to address that. But me addressing that is not independent of my chanting. So for me, it's like I feel very grounded in my path. You know, my
Yes.
years with medicine work really helped me kind of establish myself on a path in which I can practice Krishna consciousness.
Good. Good. I was waiting for something good like that, because medicine is medicine. Okay. We're not
Yeah.
condoning the use of any kind of medicine at all here on this show. We are condoning the use of the Maha mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, and we are condoning um, getting our lives closer to Krishna and building our relationship with Lord Sri Krishna. That's what we're doing on this show. So, speaking of that, we are exactly out of time, but this show, I want to continue this talking about ayahuasca and talking about things that are outside the box for sure. I think we're finally in a time and place where the world is so chaotic and so crazy that people are starting to go back and re-question what was the standard for so many years. And
Yeah.
I think that's a positive thing. I think we're going in the right direction by doing that, because we need solutions in this day and age. And unless you are a devotee, I mean, like we just read in this book, you know, unless you have that relationship with Krishna, I feel sorry for you, you know, like this relationship with Krishna is like going into a deal. And I'm so glad I made this deal. You know, this is like a partnership business deal. You know, for
Yeah,
me,
nice.
I don't
Yeah,
know if it's
yeah,
like that
yeah,
for
yeah.
everybody. I guess to some extent it is, but
Well, Prabhu, this is really nice. I need to tack on a point here. Just hopefully this helps get a little well-roundedness, because there's basically three things. There's energy, form, and consciousness. These are like the three pillars. I don't know if we talked about this on the show before, but you have energy is feminine. So you've got like the ayahuasca working with you on a like feminine, like earth, body, feeling state thing. Like you will feel energy and dissonance, and she will help you purge that energy, and new, fresh energy comes in. Where does that energy come from? This is what's very important. It comes from the consciousness. What is the um, presiding consciousness of that arena? Okay, so just hold that point. And then the other side is form. That is the structure. What kind of structure do you have in your life? What is your path? Like, what actually is your path? What are you doing outside of that ceremony space that is informing the energy, that is holding the space, that is holding the shape, the container for that energy to teach you, to be held, to be attended to, because the medicine path is all about attending to the energy, and it is inextricable from having a sadhana. So I was very fortunate that my teacher, my shamanic teacher, I mentioned, he also taught Kundalini Yoga as a daily sadhana. And not just Kundalini Yoga, not just that tradition, but he pulled from all of what he had inherited from his teachers, and he allowed me to do the same. He, you know, I developed my own sadhana, and then when I came to the Hare Krishna movement, that found a very crystallized kind of thing, as well as this presiding consciousness, because the deity then became Radha Krishna, and so this is a very important point. So okay, let's recap. You have the energy, like what energy are you feeling in your body right now? You know, you have to work with that. And having a lifestyle like straight edge will give you like this is every religious path will have these two elements. You have to have these. You know, you have to have some standards, some like moral guidelines. Not do this. You know, this is how I work with this energy. And when I feel like this energy, like this is right. Like I do.
yeah, getting a little dicey, but yes. Ooh. Talking about energy, I don't know if he's coming back from this one. Oh, I was so into that too. This poor guy's frozen up here. Oh my goodness. That's not a bad frame though. That's actually a really quite a nice picture of Balaram right there. So anyway, thank you so much. We are like completely at the end of our time, but I do want to thank all of you watching on YouTube. And yeah, he's gone. I want to thank our viewers and our subscribers and everybody. And again, this is the Soul Ashraya podcast. I am Bhakti Jake. And if you watch our videos on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We are going to end this show as we do every show, chanting the Maha Mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you and namaste, all you bhakti yogis. We love you. We'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.